How dare you, as an adopted child, act like an older sister to me, your biological sister? I am not the type to invite a complete stranger to a wedding. Huh? Lucille, what do you mean by that? I mean, you're not actually related to Stefan, right? That makes you a complete outsider. I've wasted my time being polite to you all this time. I've always wondered why, even though you're Jasper's sister, you turned out to be such a failure. A failure? Of course, you're unemployed, aren't you? Meanwhile, Jasper is an elite businessman working for a top company. If you're not even blood related, it all makes sense, doesn't it? That's a pretty rude thing to say. What do you think Jasper would say if he heard that? What would he say? I'm just stating facts. You're a complete stranger, and I have no obligation to respect you at all. In fact, you've been acting superior, basking in your own sense of superiority, right? You don't think Jasper would be disappointed in you? Not only have you not respected me, but you've also spoken down to me all this time. And I don't think I consider myself superior to you at all. Aren't you overthinking things? Regardless, a fraud like you shouldn't come to the wedding. Besides, I have no intention of recognizing you as my sister-in-law. Then I'll just skip it. Of course! If you show up, I'll spill your secrets, you know. Are you talking about the debt? Of course, and also that you're unemployed. You're hiding it from the family, aren't you? I bet you wouldn't want that to get out. Fine, I'll skip it as you said. That's no complaint, right? Either way, if you tell me not to come, I won't plan on going. Then just stay quiet at home on the day of the wedding. Someone like you, a complete loser, could never become a part of our family of doctors like ours. Really, Lucille? You think you're so much better than me, huh? Just because you have a job? What's that really worth? Money? Status? It doesn't define who a person is. You might think that, but let's be real here. In this world, it's all about appearances. You have to admit that my path is much better than yours. I am making something of myself, and you're just standing still. Your entire life is just a constant struggle, and it shows. How shallow can you be? You think you know everything because you have a stable job? What happens when that job is gone? You think your life will just stay perfect forever? Life is not that simple. Listen, it doesn't matter. I'm not the one whose future looks bleak. I have opportunities, and I'm going to make the most of them. What are you doing? Complaining about how unfair life is while sitting around? Just wait a second. What about all those times you came to me for help? When you had your own struggles, you expected me to be there, right? But now you want to throw my past in my face? Either way, I'm not going to have a loser like you coming to this wedding, so stay away from my family and I.
Hey, Ellie, why aren't you at the ceremony? It's about to start soon.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jasper. I was just feeling a bit under the weather.
Really? Are you okay?
It came on suddenly this morning, but I'll be fine. I'll feel better soon.
Then I'll go ahead and contact Dr. Inoue. I'm worried because I want to make sure everything's all right before something happens.
What? No, it's really okay.
No, it's not okay. You're feeling unwell enough to miss my wedding, right? If that's the case, you absolutely need to see a doctor.
I'm telling you, it's fine. Look, going to the hospital is hard for me right now.
Is it really that bad? All right, then I'll see if I can ask someone to come over to your house.
No way! It's Saturday and I don't want to bother Dr. Inoue.
What are you talking about? It's totally fine. Dr. Inoue's clinic only accepts house calls on Saturday mornings anyway. I'll contact them, so just stay home and rest.
Ugh, seriously?
Hey, what's going on? I heard from Dr. Inoue.
What? I told you not to tell anyone.
He must have been conflicted about it, but he couldn't just ignore it. More importantly, is it true that Lucille has refused to attend?
Yeah, she said she doesn't want to invite even those who aren't blood related.
What? Lucille actually said that? I mean, you and I are technically cousins, right? It's not like we aren't blood related at all.
That doesn't matter to her. She simply dislikes me and found something she could use to attack me. To be precise, it's not about whether we're related or not that matters.
Why didn't you tell me about this?
I thought if I just put up with it, everything would settle down. I figured if I got into a fight with Lucille here, it would just cause you more trouble.
What are you talking about, Ellie? I'd rather not get married without knowing about that side of Lucille. It's appalling that she would insult you like that.
Wait, it's okay now. There's some truth to what she's saying.
There's no way there's any truth to that. Refusing to attend your wedding is unacceptable. I'm gonna confront Lucille about this.
No, that's not necessary.
Why not? This is ridiculous. I can't believe she would behave this way. You deserve to be treated with respect, especially on a day like your wedding.
Look, Jasper, please listen to me. I know Lucille has her own reasons, and she might be feeling insecure. It's complicated, and I don't want to drag you into it. If you confront her, it could escalate the situation, and that's the last thing I want.
I understand what you're saying, but that doesn't justify her actions. You can't just let her get away with treating you like this. It's not fair to you, and it's certainly not fair to me.
I know it seems unfair, but it's better to take the high road. I just want to avoid unnecessary conflict. Besides, if she's upset, it could put a damper on everything, and I don't want you to feel responsible for that.
You're thinking too much about her feelings when it should be about you. You shouldn't have to hide your feelings or accommodate her at your own expense.
I get that, but I just don't want to cause any drama. I want everything to go smoothly for you. You've worked so hard for this day.
Ellie, it's not worth sacrificing your dignity. You matter too. I care about you and your happiness. I won't let anyone treat you this way, especially not on such an important occasion.
I appreciate that, but please try to understand where I'm coming from. I just want you to have a beautiful day together without any issues.
Fine, but know that I won't let this go. If I have to, I'll talk to Lucille later. You deserve better than this. Hey, Lucille, what on earth do you think you're doing? I've heard everything. It seems you've refused to let Ellie attend.
Wait, you heard that from Ellie?
Yeah, that's right. What are you thinking?
What do you mean, what am I thinking? I mean, it's ridiculous for her to sit in the family section when she's adopted. I refuse to let her come for the sake of you and the other family members. It's clear that she's on a different level altogether. The embarrassment would fall on all of you.
That's none of your business. I've relied on Ellie for a lot. Sure, she's not my direct sibling, but we treat each other like family.
Fine, let's call Ellie then, and I'll just delay the ceremony until she arrives.
No way. The ceremony is canceled. I can't marry you.
What? Wait a minute, I was thinking of your best interests.
What do you mean, my best interests? Don't mess with me. I'm seriously disappointed in you. I don't want to get married to someone like you.
Jasper, please reconsider. If our wedding gets canceled here, it'll cause trouble for so many people. Are you really okay with that?
No matter how much trouble it causes for those around us, I can't marry you.
Are you really serious? You'd think it's better to have a connection with us. After all, we're a family of doctors. We have a massive fortune. Is that not appealing to you?
I couldn't care less about that. I didn't plan to marry you for your money or status.
This is why people like you are at the bottom. Can you not think realistically?
Huh? Bottom?
Yeah, bottom. Your social value might be quite high, but your parents and Ellie have no decent education at all. To be honest, I didn't want to become part of your family in the first place, but I tolerated it because you're an elite.
Is that really how you think?
Especially about Ellie. I absolutely don't want someone like her, an unemployed woman with debts, in my family. That's why I told her not to come to the ceremony. I can't afford to have my dignity questioned because of her.
An unemployed woman with debts? What on earth are you talking about?
Ellie is currently unemployed and has debts she's been trying to hide, but I figured it out. Who would want to invite someone like that to a wedding?
Is that really the case? What exactly happened to Ellie?
Oh, my dad is calling. I'll talk to you later. I'll let him know you two are thinking about canceling the wedding on the day of. That's just pathetic.
What's the point of bringing this up, Lucille? This is about more than just money or status. It's about family, loyalty, and the people we care about. You can't just dismiss Ellie because you think she doesn't belong.
You don't get it, do you? It's not just about her not belonging. It's about preserving the integrity of our family. We have a reputation to uphold, and letting someone like her in would tarnish that reputation. It's not personal, it's practical.
Practical? You call this practical? Refusing someone who cares for me deeply simply because she doesn't fit your narrow definition of family? You should be ashamed.
Oh, please, spare me your emotional rhetoric. You're just letting your feelings cloud your judgment. This is a big event, and we have to be mindful of how it reflects on all of us. It's not just about you and Ellie, it's about everyone involved.
Everyone involved? What about my feelings? What about how Ellie feels? You can't just make decisions that affect others without considering them. If you had any respect for me, you would understand that.
Respect? Respect is earned, Jasper, and by your own admission, you're standing up for someone who clearly doesn't fit in. You're making a huge mistake if you think this is how things should be.
I don't care what you think is right or wrong. I know how I feel, and I refuse to let your elitist attitudes dictate who I can care for. Ellie deserves better than to be treated as less than.
You think you're being noble or brave by defending her, but this will only lead to more issues down the line. People will talk, families talk, they'll question your judgment, and then what?
Then they can question my judgment all they want. I'm not marrying you to appease anyone. I'm marrying for love, for companionship, and for loyalty. I thought you understood that.
You're naive, Jasper. This isn't a fairy tale. This is real life. You have to be pragmatic. You can't let emotions get in the way of making sound decisions for your future.
I thought I was making a sound decision by standing up for what's right. I don't want to marry someone who thinks money and social status define worth. If that's your perspective, then I don't want any part of it.
You think you're so different, but at the end of the day, you're still just like everyone else. You're just as concerned about appearances. You can't convince me otherwise.
You know what? I don't care about appearances anymore. I care about the people I love, the people who support me. If you can't see that, then maybe this is a sign that we shouldn't be together at all.
You're making a grave mistake, Jasper. You have no idea what you're giving up.
And you have no idea what you're losing by trying to control everything. I won't let you manipulate me or my relationships. I'm done.
Hey, wait a minute. Dad is cutting ties with me. What on earth is going on? Did you guys do something?
Huh? Dad is? I don't know, but...
You used a doctor to inform Dad, didn't you? Don't pull such a cowardly trick.
Using a doctor? What are you talking about?
Dad said he got a call from some doctor he knows. Who is this doctor? You guys have no connections to any doctors, right?
Wait, could it be Dr. Inoue?
Dr. Inoue? Who is that?
He's my primary care physician. I've been seeing him since I was a kid. I thought Ellie was genuinely feeling unwell today, so I asked Dr. Inoue to take a look at her.
So, you mean that doctor knows Dad?
Yeah, that guy really talks too much. He probably heard about Ellie and informed Dad. I didn't even know those two were acquainted.
Huh? What is that supposed to mean? A gossipy doctor isn't a competent physician.
Regardless, you can't be surprised if Dad says he's cutting ties after all this. I'm cutting ties with you too, got it?
What are you saying for real? Ugh, what am I supposed to do now?
Look, you need to understand the gravity of the situation. If Dad is seriously considering cutting ties with you, it means he's upset about something significant. We need to figure out what led to this. This isn't just about your relationship with him. It affects all of us.
But I didn't do anything wrong. I was only trying to help. Why does he think I would betray him?
You may not think you did anything wrong, but it's how your actions are perceived that matters. It's about the consequences. If the doctor really informed him about your situation, then it's only natural for Dad to be concerned.
But I can't believe he would sever our relationship over this. It's so unfair. I feel like I'm being punished for something that isn't my fault.
I understand that it feels unfair, but emotions can cloud judgment. You need to think about how your actions impact others. If you're close to Dad, you need to communicate with him.
Communicate? How can I communicate when he's already decided to cut ties? I don't even know where to start.
You have to approach him and explain your side. Show him that you're sincere and that you care about the family. This is a chance to set things right.
But what if he doesn't want to listen? What if he's already made up his mind?
You can't give up without trying. He might be upset right now, but that doesn't mean it's irreversible. He's your father. There's a bond that shouldn't just be thrown away because of a misunderstanding.
You really think it can be fixed?
I believe it can. Families go through rough patches, but it's how we handle them that defines us. If you care about your relationship with Dad, you have to fight for it.
Fight for it? But how?
Start by being honest. Go to him and express how you feel. Tell him you didn't mean for things to get this far. Maybe even apologize if necessary. You have to show that you want to make amends.
Oh, this is so frustrating. I didn't want any of this to happen. I just wanted to live my life without drama.
I get that, but sometimes drama finds us anyway. You have to deal with it head on instead of running away. Facing it might even bring you closer to Dad in the long run.
You really think this will work?
I have to believe that it can. Families are worth the effort. Just remember, it might take time for him to come around, but being genuine is key. Don't lose hope.
Okay, I guess I'll try, but if it doesn't work, I'm not sure what to do next.
One step at a time. Just remember to be open and honest with him. That's all you can do for now.
Please pick up the phone. No way, I don't want to talk at all. To you, I'm just a complete stranger, right? It's a serious situation. Just come over right now. Huh? What are you talking about all of a sudden? Just come here immediately. Something's going on with Dad, and he's really angry. I am formally inviting you, so hurry up and get here. Wait, but didn't your wedding get called off? If that's the case, it wouldn't make sense for me to come over now, would it? Then call Dad and explain that it's all a misunderstanding. He's saying he wants to cut ties with me. There's no way that can be done now. Just give it up. I can't just give up like that. It feels like I'm about to be disowned. You might not understand because you don't have parents, but I do. To think you could say something so terrible at this stage. You really haven't reflected on anything, have you? No, I'm sorry. Just convince Dad. Or if you could talk to that Dr. Ino guy, that would be fine too. That's impossible. Why should I have to do that for you? Because I'm the one reflecting on my mistakes. I'm apologizing like this, so it's only fair that you do something for me, right? How selfish can you be? Listen, if you don't reflect on that part of yourself, you won't find a fundamental solution. What? Are you planning to lecture me? You, who's buried in debt and unemployed? I'll expose your little secret, too. Well, I don't really care. I always thought it would eventually come out anyway. Oh, really? Well, I already told Jasper about it. Yeah, I was planning to talk to Jasper eventually. Besides, those debts aren't even mine. They were left behind by my parents. I was honestly shocked when you saw me talking to the debt collector. But you're unemployed, right? I heard that from the debt collector. I'm currently job hunting. My previous company went bankrupt. I just didn't want to worry Jasper, so I kept it to myself. But you know what? It doesn't matter anymore. Hiding it won't help. What's with you? Acting all cool about this is seriously annoying. By the way, you're unemployed too. You're just living off your parents. I don't have parents. In fact, I'm stuck with their debt. But aside from that, we're in the same boat. What? Don't compare me to you. My family is a well-known family of doctors, and I don't need to work. You were born a loser. That's what it is. I'll just forward this entire conversation to your father. Hey, stop it! Why are you such a terrible person? I'll return the favor just as it is. Well then. Wait! I can't believe you're acting this way. It's unbelievable how selfish you're being right now. Do you really think this is going to solve anything? It's not just about me, you know. My whole future is at stake. Dad is saying he wants to sever ties, and that could ruin everything. You really have no idea how difficult it is for someone without parents, do you? You think you're the only one who has problems? I didn't say that. I just want you to understand the gravity of the situation. But you don't seem to understand how unfair you're being either. You expect me to drop everything and come running just because you're in trouble? That's not what I mean. I'm trying to explain that this is a huge deal for me. You need to see that. And what do you expect me to do? Just ignore my own problems and help you out with yours? You're right, you do have your own problems, but this is about family. Can't you see that? You talk about family when you don't even seem to care about your own. You're so quick to throw people away when things get tough. You don't understand. Dad is not just some ordinary family member to me. He is my father. And what about me? What am I then? Just someone to throw away when things get hard? I never said that. You're twisting my words. That's exactly what you're doing to me. You think I don't care about family? You think I wanted any of this to happen? Then act like it. Show me you care. You don't just sit there and act like it's not a big deal. You know what? Maybe you should just take a look in the mirror. If you really cared, you wouldn't be acting so selfishly. You wouldn't be treating me this way. This is ridiculous. You're seriously telling me that I'm the problem here? Yes, maybe if you spent a little more time thinking about how your actions affect others, we wouldn't be in this mess. You're infuriating. I can't believe I'm having this conversation with you. Well, believe it. You might think you're above it all because of your family name, but that doesn't make you better than me. Fine, if you're going to be like this, then I don't need to talk to you anymore. Whatever, just don't come crying to me when things blow up in your face. Hey, I came here to apologize. You shouldn't just shut me out like this. I won't accept your apology. I don't want anything to do with you anymore. Jasper feels the same way. I'm sorry, but you should just go home. At least accept my apology. If you don't, I won't be able to get Dad to forgive me either. I doubt your father would forgive you even if I accepted your apology. After all, he's the one who arranged for the wedding expenses and your compensation payments, right? But I'm not working and I don't have any savings. There's no way I can pay for the wedding or any compensation. That's why I have to ask Dad for forgiveness. So why don't you just take out a loan to pay for it? What? That's your only option, isn't it? I have no intention of accepting your apology. And if you're going to follow your father's orders, then you have no choice but to do that. Me? Take out a loan? But if I do that, how am I supposed to get Dad to forgive me? What you should be doing right now is standing your ground. You know that much yourself, right? I can't believe it's come to this. You have to understand that actions have consequences. You can't just expect everything to be fine because you feel sorry now. You've put yourself in this position and now you need to face it. I never meant for things to go this way. I just wanted to make things right. Wanting to make things right doesn't change the reality of the situation. You need to take responsibility for your actions, and that includes finding a way to fix the mess you've created. But it's not that easy! I can't just magically come up with the money to pay everyone back! Life isn't easy for anyone, and just because you're struggling doesn't give you a free pass to avoid your obligations. You need to figure out a way to handle this. So, you really won't accept my apology at all? Not even a little bit? No, I won't. You need to understand that this is serious. I'm not just going to forget everything because you feel guilty now. You need to show that you can take responsibility for what you've done. I see. So there's no hope for me, huh? It's not about hope. It's about taking action. If you truly want to fix this, then you need to make some hard choices and own up to what you've done. Are you seriously kidding me right now? What do you think you're doing? Tricking me out of my money? Tricking you out of your money? What are you talking about? Don't play dumb. You were the one who said to take out a loan and pay. So I borrowed money to cover the wedding expenses and the compensation I owed you, but your dad isn't forgiving me at all. I see. Your father's pretty stubborn, huh? If he were a decent father, he wouldn't have let things get this bad for his daughter. I seriously regret paying you any compensation. I have no house, no savings, and no job, and now I'm buried in debt. How am I supposed to live like this? I think it's your own fault. Can you please not contact me anymore? I'll block you on my end, too. What? Are you trying to run away? This is ridiculous. You've squeezed money out of me. I'm honestly tired of being yelled at for everything. Fine, I admit I was wrong. I'll apologize. So could you please talk to my dad on my behalf? I borrowed money from a loan shark and I paid it back. That should prove that I've reflected on my actions. Wait, you borrowed from a loan shark? Well, who else would lend me money in my current situation? I thought that if I could get your dad to forgive me, I could pay him back quickly. That's why I need to pay it back as soon as possible. Please help me. Sorry, but that's not happening. I am done putting up with you. Until now, I tolerated your attitude for Jasper's sake, but that was a mistake. Please, if I don't pay back this debt soon, I'll be charged huge interest. You signed knowing that, didn't you? If that's the case, it's your own doing. If you're an adult, you should take responsibility for your own actions. How dare you act all high and mighty? You're just as low as I am. You're unemployed, you have no parents, and you're drowning in debt. I think you're in exactly the same situation as me. Don't act like you're better than me just because you're related to someone successful. Just because you have connections doesn't mean you get to look down on people like me. I'm not looking down on you. I'm just stating the facts. You need to face the reality of your situation. You've made choices that led you here, and now you have to deal with the consequences. What do you know about my situation? You don't have to deal with my problems. You don't understand what it's like to be in my shoes. You think I don't know? I've had my fair share of struggles too. Just because I might have a different background doesn't mean I don't know what it's like to be in a tough spot. But you're not in as deep as I am. You don't understand how it feels to be stuck in this never-ending cycle of debt with no way out. Maybe not, but that doesn't give you an excuse to keep dragging me into your problems. I've already helped you as much as I can. It's time for you to figure this out on your own. You are so infuriating. How can you be so cold-hearted? Just think for a second about how I'm feeling. I'm thinking about how you put yourself in this situation. You could have made better choices. Instead, you keep blaming everyone else for your problems. You have no idea how hard it is for me to even breathe right now. I am suffocating under this pressure. Well, maybe it's time for you to learn how to handle it instead of relying on others to bail you out. It's tough love, but sometimes that's what you need. Fine, I get it, but don't think you're off the hook just yet. You'll regret this. I'm not worried about your threats. I'm focusing on my own life and the choices I need to make. You should start doing the same. Aren't you going to talk to Lucille?
I don't care. I've already blocked her. There's nothing to discuss with Lucille. Instead, I want to ask you something.
About the debt?
Yeah, I heard you've been carrying your parents' debt. Why didn't you reach out to me or my parents for help?
Well, I feel bad about it. I mean, they're adopting me, and I didn't want to burden them with my debt. I thought it would be uncomfortable for them.
That's not how it works.
My uncle and aunt were always distant from my parents. In fact, they disliked them. It was almost a state of estrangement. When my parents vanished, I was genuinely happy that they took me in, but I just couldn't bring myself to talk about the debt. I decided to handle it myself.
Ellie.
Also, I didn't want to interfere with your life. I thought your uncle and aunt should prioritize spending their money on you more than on me.
So that's why you didn't go to college and just worked the whole time?
Thanks to that, you're thriving at a prestigious trading company, right? So in the end, it worked out well for both of us, didn't it?
You thought of yourself as somewhat of an outsider, didn't you? I never thought that way about you, nor did my parents.
I know, but it was hard to shake that feeling. I was fully aware that Lucille's character was completely lacking, but I didn't want to interfere in your choice of spouse since I'm just an outsider.
Because of that, you ended up in this situation. If only you had been more honest with me.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
So from now on, please, talk to me about anything. Promise me, all right? I'll do the same.
All right, thank you, Jasper.
Of course, that's the least I can do for family.
You really mean that?
Absolutely. We're family after all. Family helps each other out. I know it might feel complicated, but we're connected in ways that go beyond just blood.
I just didn't want to complicate things for you. You had your own future to think about, and I didn't want to be a burden. I thought if I stayed quiet and managed things myself, I could shield you from the negativity that my situation would bring.
But keeping everything bottled up didn't help anyone. It made things worse for you and put distance between us. You should have felt like you could lean on me.
I get that now, I really do, but back then I was just so overwhelmed. I thought I could handle it on my own, that I could figure it out without dragging anyone else into my mess.
You know, being family means sharing both the good and the bad. It's okay to ask for help. I wish you had felt comfortable enough to come to me. I would have been there for you no matter what.
Well, maybe now I see that. It's just hard to change old habits. You know how I am. I tend to internalize everything.
I understand that. Just remember that I'm here for you. You're not alone in this. We can face whatever comes our way together.
Lucille found herself pursued by debt collectors, and with no assets and no desire to work, she kept running away. However, this lifestyle couldn't last, and she was soon caught. Although they were loan sharks, they didn't seem to be overly ruthless. They even offered her a position at a factory where she could live and work until she could repay her debts. But Lucille rejected their offer and fled again. Before long, she was arrested on suspicion of theft. Once she had gained a sense of superiority from being a part of the winners, it seemed impossible for her to accept a humble job and work diligently. When I think about it, she might actually be quite pitiable. In the aftermath of this incident, Jasper, my uncle, my aunt, and I grew closer. Now we've developed a relationship where we can talk about anything. It just goes to show that blood relations don't necessarily define family.